Welcome back to Colbert on Golf. Thank you for joining us each and every week where we talk about all kinds of great things in the great game of golf. Jim Colbert with us. He's in Alabama for the Tradition this week, one of the great tournaments that the champions play each and every year at Shoal Creek in Birmingham. Jim, we had quite a story in professional football this week. Tom Brady, the New England quarterback, was suspended 4 games, and the Patriots lost a first-round draft choice next year, a fourth-round draft choice the year after that, and the owner got fined $1 million. Now, if Brady is appealing, if he does miss all 4 games, he'll also lose $2 million in salary. We know now that he sort of led the way for these guys to alter the footballs, and the NFL didn't take kindly to that. And then he didn't really cooperate with them when they wanted to get information from him. He basically said, no, thanks, I'm not going to share with you. So he got his penalty. He's going to appeal. First of all, your thoughts on just generally what happens in sport. You've been around this a long time. People try to gain an edge any way they can. We'll move to golf in a moment, but your thoughts about big news in the NFL this week.
Well, I'm a big Brady fan, so I'm disappointed. The amount of error, you read that whole thing, which I didn't, but I've listened to every commentator there is. Those balls were only 0.2 of a pound, 0.2 of something according to all the gas laws. I mean, I don't know how that could affect the game. But if you're fooling with football, you're in big trouble. I mean, they put those guidelines in there. Well, there's some fluctuation in them, but you better be between the softest and the hardest. Roethlisberger likes it as hard as you can get. He's got those great big hands. Brady likes it soft. He's been on record of saying that. I guess he told them to deflate it past the minimum. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to help him out. He says, I like it at the minimum, get it right down to the minimum. But it kind of points like they broke that. They intentionally went under the minimum. And that's really disappointing to me. It shows a side of Brady that I know I'd never seen. And so I'm very disappointed in that.
Well, yeah, I guess it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter what they were inflated to. It's the process of the officials. Walt Anderson, who's a friend of our show, I've known Walt for a long, long time. Once they approve the footballs, you just can't touch them. And it's the same thing on the PGA Tour to me. I mean, they approve a certain type of golf ball. They approve the clubs. They approve the equipment that you use. Once they've approved it, you can't alter it in your own favor. I mean, that wouldn't be fair for the other guys out on tour. Now, I know we've seen things through the years where guys have tried to do things in golf. And look, it's not unique in sports. In NASCAR, they say if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I mean, that sport's just a complete fraud when it comes to the rules. Everybody's trying to break them. We've seen the Denver Broncos, and Walt Anderson was at that game at Arrowhead many years ago, have silicone all over their jerseys. The linemen were putting real slick stuff on so they couldn't be held. People are going to try to gain an edge. I guess the fact that this is Brady makes it a big difference. And I don't know, what were you up against during the years? Were there guys out there on tour trying to gain an edge?
Back in the day, before they had real strict guidelines, they had them, but it was basically the tour official looking at it and saying, oh, the grooves on this wedge are too deep or too wide. That's where everybody was playing in the old days with the minimum, trying to get the grooves as wide or as deep as they could, and that way they could get more spin on the ball and control it. And there's been a lot of wedges over the years that were thrown out with, you're playing with somebody and his ball's acting funny. You say, hey, pal, you got to have the guy check that wedge. And that's how the officials know about it. It comes from your fellow competitors. And they're not accusing anything except these, hey, pal,
right.
let's have that one checked. And invariably, they throw that club out. So and if you actually played in the tournament with it and they said it was out, then he was out for that week. But that's as far as it went.
And there's almost, I know you're a big fan of a new Callaway golf ball that's out this year, but there's almost no cheating with the golf ball at this point. You'd have to make your own golf ball. There's no altering it. There isn't anything, I don't think there's anything you can do to a golf ball to make it better. And the manufacturers are making them so good now, it would seem impossible that any golfer would be able to do anything to the ball to make it any better.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what you would do. The golf ball, part of being a professional golfer and playing the circuit is matching your clubs with the golf ball that responds the way you want it to, because there are definitely different characteristics from the top line golf balls. It's a big deal to match up your game with what you're looking for in a golf ball. I remember back when the old top flights came out, man, you could hit them with an iron, they go 9 miles. And they didn't have the one rule, and so guys were hitting the top flight on 3 pars where they could hit a 5 iron instead of a 3 iron or something like that. I never did it, but I liked being able to do that because I thought it's just going to confuse these guys more. That's just another decision. Which golf ball am I going to hit on which hole? And I'm thinking, man, it's perfect, guys. Go ahead and use whatever you want. And that's just another part of the equation I didn't want to worry about. But then they changed the rules. So, whatever ball you start with, you got to play with that ball. I mean, it can't just be a Titleist or a Callaway, because there's all kinds of golf balls under both brands. So whatever the style, the number you're playing with, not the number, but the type of ball you're playing with, like if I'm playing the Callaway Chrome, I can't switch to a Callaway Soft or some other ball just because it's Callaway.
Right.
The ball you start with, you have to play with. And the same thing with Titleist, So they all have 5 or 8 different kinds of balls. So it's just not the name; it's the same type that you have to play with, and you can't change it. And you'd never get away with playing with the guys you're playing with. I mean, they know what's going on.
Right. So if you were 30 today, would you be playing the same Callaway ball you're playing right now, or would it be a different ball? Does it change over the course of your lifetime depending on your game? And what should amateurs do to make sure, the typical 10 or 15 handicap amateur, what should they do to make sure they're playing the right ball?
You can tell me whether I'm playing the right ball or not. My choice is the Callaway Chrome, which it doesn't seem to go that much further with my driver. But it's a full club longer with my irons. I mean, I could hit a 6 iron where I was hitting a 5 iron. I could hit a 9 iron where I was hitting an 8 iron. And it spins real well, but it doesn't seem to pick up as much mud. I get too much backspin on my driver, and it doesn't seem to pick up, a lot of mud. But the ironic part is that's the same ball that Phil Mickelson's playing, and, our swing speeds are miles apart. But he's playing it for the same reason, and Bob Murphy's playing it, and we're not long hitters by any stretch of the imagination. It just does everything that I want a golf ball to do. It feels softer when I hit it with an iron, yet it goes farther. And even though it goes farther, it stops. So I don't know how you can beat that. It solved a lot of problems for me because I was playing the Callaway Soft and all kinds of things, and it has the same characteristic, but it goes farther with the irons.
There you go. Well, that sounds like it'd be a good ball for a lot of players then.
Absolutely. And, a lot of guys, I've given a lot of them away, and, next thing I know, they're all going back the next time I see them, and they bought their own and playing that ball. It's the best ball I've ever played. It's a big change for me over the last 10 years that I could play a ball that Phil Mickelson or a tour player's playing and actually have it perform for me.
Well, I've been playing it because you gave me some, and I love it. They're very, very good. They do everything that you said, no doubt about it. Good tip right there, the Callaway Chrome. If you want to check out a new ball, folks, go give it a shot. Colbert recommends it very, very highly. We'll take a little break. Colbert on Golf continues in just a moment.
You're listening to Colbert on Golf, built by Midland Exteriors. Online at MidlandExteriors.com. Midland Exteriors, we've thought of everything.